Hello, we are Carla and Samantha, and this is our business proposal as your cultural business managers for the Japanese multinational corporation home based in Canada.
We would like to make a brief description and introduction into how the textile industry is nowadays working, in order to let you know if it's a better option invest or start operations in Mexico, Bangladesh, and Kenya.
For the methodology of this research, in order to invest or start operations in different locations, whether it is decided in merger and acquisition or greenfield respectively, all implies to know the market and industry behavior of each country. So in order to achieve an analysis as complete as possible of these, we are going to inquire in four main axes. Number 1, Introduction to International Business, in which we will approach the reasons why a firm would like to go global, if there are higher margins and profits, sourcing advantages, access to lower cost production, and the level of innovation and diversification. Number 2, Economic Development, where we explore variables like the type of market, foreign direct investment, GDP growth, GNP, the ease of doing business, and the price of trading across borders. Number 3, cross-cultural business. A fundamental aspect to consider is the culture, which covers uncountable aspects regarding social behavior, while using the Kluckhohn-Strotbeck, the Hofstede, and the Trompenaars frameworks. The research was based on some case studies and international indexes, although these latest data are more quantitative, which means it is not representative at all, but it provides a useful overview. Number 4, political economy and ethics. We clarify the political, economic, and legal system, as well as the levels of corruption, government effectiveness, political stability, tax revenue, registering property, contamination, and the condition of the labor force.
Well, now an introduction to the textile industry. The textile industry in Japan overcame the 69.900 million euros. However, the Japanese population has been decreasing and the active individuals inside their economy are getting old. This has encouraged some firms to seek opportunities for growth in their profits and demand with other markets and gain new qualified labor hands. The organization could learn and enter into new production styles that are already successful inside the countries and internationalize them while gaining ideas to introduce themselves in the global market.
To introduce ourselves more deeply into the textile industry in general, the basics are for sure fundamental to make wise, smart decisions for making businesses. When thinking of textiles, we're related to fashion, which usually come and go. That is no secret. The ambit of production for businesses and activity in the economy allows people from around the globe to invest and expand their production, branding and gaining or offering raw materials to work with. To support the specific industry, the production of the market provides undoubtedly employment opportunities with great abilities to deliver into economic and social development of multiple countries and within improved lifestyles. Additionally, the production area is most likely to keep on going because of the supplied materials and workers that are established in different countries. For this reason, competition is on the line and on the rise. Moreover, a specialized work with textiles depends on the area in order to determine the fabric you are working with, and from them the type of clothes you are going to be producing. That being said, the demand for textiles are majorly for the active and performance type of wear. As a result, our topic market is moving by the forces of demand inside the activity, for example, the sportswear. Nevertheless, the technology advances are not a factor to leave with low attention because it is now another moving demand force for customers' expectation and attraction for textile manipulation and selection.
Two important themes that change the human lives in every aspect, political, social, cultural, economic, and obviously the business matter, are the pollution and COVID-19. This because the textile industry has a large environmental footprint through water demand and GHG emissions, while the pandemic demonstrates inefficiency in value chains. Mainly, what this shows us is one, the necessity to create opportunities for diversification and reimagine processes of production, and second, the complexities to invest inside the middle class consumers.
Mexico and the textile industry. It is a federal presidential republic. It is the 14th biggest country in the world, and thanks to its geographical position, Mexico enjoys a strategic location considering its adjoining with the United States and its closeness with the rest of Central American countries. Also, the fact that this country is between the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. Mexico is also a multicultural country. Their official language is Spanish, but also counts with a huge variety of indigenous languages. In this case, the textile industry, together with the clothing industry during 2019, contributed 3.2% to the GDP, even was ranked as one of the most important manufacturing economic activities according to the INEGI. The main products produced by this industry during 2019 were the cotton denim fabrics, the soft fiber blend fabrics mainly of man-made or synthetic fibers, the manufacture of raffia sacks, the yarn of mixture of soft fibers mainly of artificial or synthetic fibers, the manufacture of non-woven fabrics for industrial use, the manufacture of plastic-coated fabrics with textile support, the knitted fabrics of artificial or synthetic fibers of polyester, the cotton knitting fabric manufacturing, and other not specified products. Also, the most recent data, 10 of 32 states of the country concentrates 85.7% of the textile production, but also of every 100 pesos of supplies used by the textile industry, 58.9 pesos are national and 41.1 pesos are imported. This lets us see a strong dependence in the imports, and this allows us to have an opportunity in the textile industry to strengthen the relation and cover the local supplies demand in the garment industry. Furthermore, Mexico is a member of a series of international organizations, including the United Nations and the World Trade Organization, but also Mexico is part of 13 free trade agreements with 50 countries, 29 agreements of the promotion and reciprocal protection of investments with 30 countries, and 9 limited scope agreements within the framework of Latin American Integration Association. Among all these, we can find the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, and this last is one of the most important since it is until the year 2000 was reflected in the increase of the GDP produced by the textile and clothing industry.
Bangladesh and the textile industry. This country is a parliamentary republic located in the Asian continent, has a very strategic position not only because it's in the Bay of Bengal, but also for its adjoining with India and Burma. It's one of the most populated countries in the world. Approximately 2.11% of the total world population is here, and roughly 97.7% of the population speaks the official language, the Bengali, but a smaller percentage is also speaking other tongues. The textile industry in Bangladesh has represented along the years an important percentage of the GDP. In 2019, around of the 84% comes from the sporting textile and garment goods. They produce especially knit and woven garments among other specialized products, sent mainly to the European Union, United States, Canada, and non-traditional markets like Australia, China, India, Japan, and Mexico. In the period July 2019 to June 2020, entered $14,041.90 million from the government production against $13,908 generated by the NIF products. But together the number decreased 18.12% comparing with the previous period. What is worrying about the previous numbers is that the basic raw materials needed in the spinning sector are raw cotton and synthetic fibers, and unfortunately, the industry depends on imported fabric from China and India. This represents a great risk in international production. but at the same time a national opportunity to strengthen this currently neglected sector. After fatal accidents like the Rana Plaza collapse and the Tahrir fashion fire, in where emerged a huge preoccupation and occupation about worker safety and better working conditions in the industry, the International Finance Corporation, together with Bangladesh organizations and exporters associations, as well as key private sector stakeholders and countries like Japan, worked recently in a project which purpose was counteract the challenge that this industry presents in the country. So at the end, they dropped sustainability through the offering of suppliers monetary incentives to improve their environmental and social standards.
Kenya and the textile industry. It is another presidential republic type of government. The culture of Kenya, and as all of the culture is wonderful and pretty diverse, it is conferred by a multiplicity of languages that have a descending order of languages. The money is under the unit of change is shilling, which is equal to 0.012 Canadian dollars. This country takes participation on trade agreements in the common market for Eastern and South Africa, Community of Sahel-Saharan states, and the East African Community. With this said, the World Bank tells us that Kenya has made strong alliances with the African Union, the Non-Aligned Movement, the Commonwealth, the G33 Forum for Developing Countries, the United Nations, and the World Trade Organization. Kenya is an excellent player inside the textile industry because of its fast growth in providing employment for younger societies in the country and perhaps around the globe. In this context, a manufactured good, it offers opportunities for increased value capture and streamlined trade logistics, and for the building of skills and experience from the factory floor to management levels. And for this reason, Kenya is a good source for manufactured goods opportunities in order to be able to increase global coexistence through trade and expand economy. In this regard, the World Bank shared that Kenya's exports grew 42% in the recent years, which puts this country at top developments inside the global market. In this matter, the Republic of Kenya is currently taking chances in addressing competitiveness in the textile industry area to grow and expand nationally and internationally.
The next chapter, economic development. The three countries are emerging markets. Mexico is characterized by developing its own tech startup ecosystem and has deals with the major distribution companies, but at the same time, they suffer a crisis in several oil producing. Bangladesh is currently the fastest growing economy of the Asia Pacific. The human development increase and the poverty index since 1991 declined, but it's important still working in the financial sector, the urbanization and infrastructure, as well as the human capital development. In Kenya, the investment is visible also in the technology and accessibility issues. However, 30% of the firms agree that skilled workforces is the main limitation to the productivity. At December 2020, the foreign direct investment in Mexico was from $2,531 million. In Bangladesh was from $1,510 million, and until December 2019 in Kenya was from $1,273 million.
The main economies that in 2019 made inward direct investment were in Mexico, number 1, United States, 34%, 2, Netherlands, 20%, 3, Spain, 17%, 4, Canada, 7%, 5, United Kingdom, 4%. In Bangladesh, number 1, United States, 21%, number 2, United Kingdom, 12%, 3, Netherlands, 8%, 4, Singapore, 7%, 5, China, 5%, and in Kenya, there is no data. The real GDP growth in 2021, the annual percent change was 5% in Mexico, the annual percent change was 5% also in Bangladesh, and the annual percent change was 7.6% in Kenya.
Another variable says that Mexico is the 60th country with the most business-friendly regulations. Bangladesh is the 168th, and Kenya occupies the 56th place. And in regards to trading across borders, in Mexico the export border type is land, with a time to export of 20 hours but with a cost of $400. In Bangladesh, the border type is port, with a time of 168 hours and a cost of $408. And in Kenya, the export border type is land, with a time of 16 hours and a cost of $143.
Cross-cultural business between Mexico, Bangladesh, and Kenya. Religion in Mexico. There are more than 6, but despite this, the Catholic religion predominates among 77.7% of the population. Then we find that 11.2% are Protestant or Evangelical Christian, 0.2% are part of another religion, the 2.5% are believers without having a religious affiliation, and 8.1% doesn't have a religion. In Bangladesh, the religion that predominates among the population is the Muslim with 89.5% and with much lower percentage the Hindu with 9.6%. The rest of the population are Buddhist or Christians among others. In Kenya, we find different religious practices. The Catholics 23.3%, Protestants 47.4%, Muslims 11.1%, Christians 11.8%, and local religions 1.6%. Time orientation, long-term versus short-term. In Mexico, it is mostly focused on the now and not really on past or future events. Bangladesh is a very punctual and they monitor timeframes for progress for business in general. People in Kenya are also punctual and they value progress in business by setting goals and so achieving them.
About human nature, Mexicans are soft-spoken. Raised voices are a sign of anger. Personal distance is close. Machismo is a stereotype for men. It's respectful to point out a person, and when you shaking hands, start with the oldest person. Bangladesh is very positive and welcoming, but we recommend not to ask questions about occupation, income, and family background. They really appreciate patience. Shaking hands is between men and not with women. Eye contact is not acceptable and are soft-spoken. In Kenya, the people are interdependent and very close to their family and groups in which they have a role to be responsible of. They don't really like the idea of loneliness, and privacy is not valued. The people there are friendly, welcoming, and warm. In the next aspect, generally in Mexico, everyone is expected to do something to contribute to the common good. Actually, the needs for the collective are far more important than the needs for the individuals. Bangladesh is a collectivist country with 20 in score for individualistic. They have long-term commitments as members of groups, families, or relationships. Kenya are a collectivist society also. They are close to their groups and loyal to their memberships.
Power distance. Mexico is here scored with an 81 since it is a hierarchical society. Each person has a role and plays without justification, so there is inequality and centralization. The country of Bangladesh is rated with an 80. This tells us that the people are comfortable with established hierarchical order where every single individual has a place without justification despite of the inequalities and centralization. Kenya has a PD of 70. It is a hierarchical society with a place and role that needs no justification. There are inequality, centralization of power, and their bosses are usually characterized as a benevolent and autocrat one. Uncertainty avoidance. Mexico's UA is relatively high in the Hofstadter's analysis. It has a rate of 82, which means they have low tolerance for uncertainty. In the same context, to have control of the UA, there are strict rules, laws, policies, regulations, and all to prevent the unexpected. Also, this tells us that the Mexican society is not very fond of changes because of the adversity of risks. The UA of Bangladesh has a high number of 60. That being said, they have rigid rules and codes according to their beliefs and behaviors, and so they are not really stand unorthodox behaviors and ideas of such. Inside the culture of Bangladesh, they care and have a need for rules. Time for them is money. The people have urge to work and an occupation. Precision and punctuality is valued for the norms. Innovation is not something that interests them, and the security is fundamental for their motivation and progress. Kenya's UA is right in the middle. It has a number of 50, and therefore they have no preference in this matter. Indulgence versus restraint. In Mexico, they have a 97, so the society is open and willing to provide the people and culture a life of joy and fun through positive attitude, optimism, and expression. Bangladesh has a 20 in indulgence, which indicates us that they are restrained, so there is possible cynicism and pessimism. They do not focus much on time on controlling terms of satisfaction of how much they have accomplished. Restrained cultures like Bangladesh have their visions primarily based on social norms. If it were the other way around, it will not feel right for them. In Kenya, there is no available and current information, according to the Hofstede analysis.
Now, our three countries are catalogued as masculine countries. They live to work, but Bangladesh managers in organizations are characterized by making assertive decisions. And in Kenya, people aspire to be the best of the best and to win always. Finally, about long-term orientation, in Mexico, there are little interest in future events and focus on getting results as fast as possible. In Bangladesh, they are in the middle and have no preference in this matter.
Political, economy, and ethics between Mexico, Bangladesh, and Kenya. Economic system: Mexico, developing market economy; Bangladesh, mixed economy; Kenya, mixed economy. Legal system: Mexico, civil law; Bangladesh, common law; Kenya, common law.
But the control of the corruption in 2019 for Mexico was from 22.59%. In Bangladesh was from 16.34%, and in Kenya was from 24.51%. While about the Corruption Perception Index in 2020, Mexico obtained 31 points on a scale of 100, and a very bad rank, the number 124. Bangladesh has a score of 26 and is ranked in number 146. And Kenya shares the score and the position number 124 with Mexico.
Government effectiveness estimate: Mexico, minus 0.1570 084. Bangladesh, minus 0.3832689. Kenya, minus 0.739231. Political stability and absence of violence terrorism estimate: Mexico, minus 0.714571. Bangladesh, minus 0.918173.5. Kenya, minus 1.123664. Property rights. As a matter of fact, Mexico's property rights are under law regimes, but the corruption forces complicate part of this matter. There is a semi-independent judicial system. Nevertheless, the law of industrial property rights and the federal copyright law take protection. In Bangladesh, they are enforced unevenly. Record-keeping systems delay at moments. Land and property transactions. The judiciary system lacks independence. The procedures of enforcement contracts in Kenya's property rights are described to be poor in enforcement because of institutional incapacity, even though the judiciary is independent, impartial, and free of corruption.
About the registering property, in Mexico, the quality of the land administration is of 16.3 points of 30. In Bangladesh, 6.5, and in Kenya, 15 points. If we talk about tax revenue, in Mexico there are 6 payments per year and a contribution rate of 55.1% of profit. In Bangladesh, 33 payments per year and a contribution rate of 33.4%. And in Kenya, 24 payments per year and a contribution rate of 37.2%. Now, the labor force in 2019 in Mexico was a total of 57,838.375. In the same year, the total in Bangladesh was from 70,159.311, and in Kenya the total was of 23,732.146. But maybe more important are the working conditions. Mexico working conditions include Social Security. There is a profit sharing of 10% within the company's gross and pre-tax income. The obligation of mandatory payment during holidays, vacation premium, the minimum salary is generally of 123.33 Mexican pesos per day. In Bangladesh, local organizations are acting on rewards of the health and safety on employees because many are forced to work 14 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Averagely per month, a person could earn 26,000 takas. In Kenya, employees work from 45 to 60 hours a week. The minimum wage is of $66. Nevertheless, Kenya has many constitutional regulations regarding labor rights. Don't forget you can find more information about the aspects present in each slide in your copy report. Conclusions. Finally, the best recommendations for the best decision are to invest and or start operations in Mexico because of the huge level of foreign direct investment, its high quality of the land administration, the possibility to cover the national government demand, and take advantage of the cultural diversity to increase innovation in textile manufacturing and international economic and policy agreements, as well as the legal document for regulation and support for employers and employees. Despite of taxes, negative on the footprint emissions, and high levels of corruption, the active economic population find often good opportunities for business. Plus, there is a good control of political legal arrangements.
Even though Bangladesh does not count with the ideal conditions of labor and does not have the easement of doing business inside the territory due to a low level of quality of the land administration, among others, it is the second world's largest textile producer, so that creates excellent opportunities in the medium-long term to invest. Also, it is a country with a more cultural similarity with Japan, so there is a possibility to start operations in the long term. To start operations in Kenya, because it is the country with best levels in trading across borders, for doing business, for registering property. Also, it is a country with the lower total tax and contribution rate, and has the least amount of labor force that could present an opportunity area to improve the labor conditions. It is possible to create new market opportunities and at the same time to satisfy needs and gain profits in a sustainable way, since we cannot forget that business impacts on jobs and standards of living because they are relatively mutual for the simple reason that each and every single individual is involved in the flow of this matter. Hence, increased cooperation between world economies for the common good of the citizens altogether. This right here is our contact, and thank you for your attention. Don't forget to use a mask. Take care.